this video, we're going to look at how to make objects in Blender. Okay, so Blender starts us with a cube, but we can delete that by selecting it and pressing the delete key. Alright, so to make an object, the quick command for that is Shift A. And you can see we can slide across from mesh, and we have a choice of some primitive objects or meshes, they call them in Blender. So if I click on the torus, you can see it looks like this, and right away before you touch or click anything, come over to this drop up menu where it says add torus. And in here you have the opportunity to change the amount of segments this object has. So if I wanted this to be a little bit higher resolution, maybe I can move this and bump up some of these numbers. You see now I have more of a rounded torus. Also, there's some other things you can mess around with in here. So I can change the major radius or the minor radius, which is this here, to kind of plump it up. Just to note, if I click off of this object and then come back to it, I lose that menu. So you only have the opportunity to change any of those segments right after you make the object. So just be mindful of that. So let's say I deleted this. I'm going to just delete this shape. I'm going to Shift A again. And this time I'll go to a UV sphere. You can see the drop up menu is here. But if I click it or move it, that goes away. So you would have to begin again. Okay. So what I'm going to do is here, there's in this menu we have some subdivisions, so I can bump that up to make a smoother looking sphere. I can change the radius as well. If you don't want to use the quick command of Shift A for making a mesh, what you can do, there is a drop down menu right up here, Add Mesh, and in here, and again, these are just the most popular objects. There are some others that we'll get to in a later video. One of the signature shapes in Blender is the monkey. So if I wanted to build just a basic scene with some primitive objects, I would either come over here to Add and Mesh. Maybe I'd like a plane. And in the previous video we talked about the Move tool and the Scale tool. And I can set up some objects. Now one thing with Blender, if I Shift A and make another object, a sphere, notice it's going right on top of the monkey. And if I move the sphere over, well then I lose the options for the sphere. So how can I get around that? Well, Blender allows you to change where you spawn an object. So if I had a cylinder here and I wanted to make a new object and didn't want it to be right on top of this previous object, what you can do, there's this cursor tool. So I could click on that and I can put the cursor over here so that the next time I make a shape with Shift A, and let's just say I make a UV sphere, it will build right on top of my cursor where I placed it. So that's just a quick little tip. This was just a video on how to create objects in Blender. Good luck and give it a try.